child is even starts growing, that the behavioral manifestation is what will depict if a child has autism or not. So because you have expectations at each milestone a child reaches. So there's the developmental milestone that you're expecting a child to start communicating, making words, using sounds building into words into sentences, and the child is inhibited, the child is unable to do that. And also you expect the child to follow instructions, the child is not able to comply with such, or the child has sensory processing disorder where the child is agitated and you really can't help the child. Maybe the child is sensitive to noise, to sound, to light, to light, to sound, and to texture, and you really don't know what to do. So at that stage, you know that it's not something that you can detect in the womb. The child has to be growing to see all those for you to know these manifestations, which are behavioral in nature.
Okay. And since you said yes, that there are some diagnoses that can be done to assess a child's health of some spectrum or some variants of special needs, like some Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Now my question is because this also is something that's very close. Happened very. Someone who's also very close to me. She was pregnant at the time, and the baby was says, just like every pregnant mother goes for scanning and all that, and she was advised by the doctor to just terminate it because the child had some form of disability. Of course, we know the burden that this kind of children can cause on their family. So many families' lives have been changed because of this. And for someone like me, who I'm a very strong conservative, and I've held the belief that abortion is something that should not even be mentioned. It's no matter how we call it, it's a taking away of the life of a child. But when this thing actually came very close to me, my opinion was sought after, and I said, yeah, do what the doctor has recommended. That made me look like I didn't really have a strong conviction, But sometimes we never know our reaction to issues until it's something
it happens to you.
Close to us.
Yeah.
And I discovered that I faltered there. But again, I was also considering the health of that child. Because, a child coming into the world, with that kind of issue, that problem, it's a lot. So my question to you is, when do you think life begins? And do you think, or what's your opinion, what kind of advice will you give to a mother whose child has been diagnosed, whose unborn child has been diagnosed of certain variants of special needs?
Life begins in the womb. The moment the X and Y chromosome cross each other, and you know that you have expecting a baby. Life has started right from the fetus.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm totally against abortion too, like you mentioned. But in cases where medically you have been informed, and it's also personal and contextual in nature, that you have to take the right option at that time. So information given to us should come to us as a tool to make just decisions. And you don't want to give birth to a child if at the end of the day you will now blame yourself later that, and I was informed. I was told that this is what the end result is going to be.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's personal, it's subjective, and I strongly hold and stand on the ground that no to abortion, but medically, I would say whatever it is medically to be done, it should be done.
Okay. How do we advise men who say things like, if my wife gives birth to a child with special needs, I'm going to leave? Or how do we advise men? How do you educate them on issues surrounding kids with special needs? There are some men who don't know how to handle such a very or navigate that sort of difficult situation, and they just think, oh, this has happened to me, or this is a child that has been born into his family, and this child has special needs. They will do nothing than just abandon the wife and the 2 kids or 3 kids. I've got a friend who, she's an amazing young woman. She's living with 2 boys with special needs. Israel knows this person I'm talking about in a moment.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
She lives in the UK, and she's a Nigerian. She's a Nigerian, and she's struggling with this situation. And once the first child was born, they found out that the child has got special needs. The guy was still there a little bit. Now the second child was born, and the next thing was the guy just, once it was diagnosed, the guy just bolted and left the 2 children. Now, I'm sure there are some of my queens in Nigeria who are living with such situations, such arrangements. This is none of our fault. The man has just the same amount of, supposed to bring the same amount of commitment as the woman. Yeah, the both of them gave birth to this child, but one person just decided to bolt out of the arrangement, which is the man. Say, oh, because I don't want to be part of this. Maybe the child is caused this from you. So how do we advise men so they don't keep leaving these women when things like this happen? That's one. Now, the second question is, how do you also support men who have chosen to sit in and support their wife through these murky waters? How do you support them?
You know that with everything that happens in life, there are stages.
Yes.
The first stage is denial.
Yeah.
That's sometimes when you even are confronted with one difficulty, you're in denial, you don't want to own up. So sometimes a lot of the men too are in that stage, and having the right support, the right network, and right knowledge and information to support them will go a long way for such men. Because, we were told back many years back, men are not supposed to cry. Men cry, and some of them just don't know how to handle such difficult problems or such difficulty, because a lot of people feel like men don't even have emotions, and they do. They have emotions.
Yeah.
So it's the support network that will do this, and the information that is given, the men, the husbands, or the male partner, the partners, they have to work together, because it's a joint effort when you were together to make the baby.
Absolutely.
So it's also a joint effort, and it's a journey for the 2 of you. Sometimes I've seen families who have thrived in working with children with disability or children with special needs, and it's even created a stronger bond, which is firm, that nobody can even penetrate between them. It's all about understanding. It's all about how much support you will give to your wife that is already shattered, that how could I have carried this in the womb? The men don't carry the babies in their womb, but they are also going through that journey. So it's not in all cases that some men walk out on their wives or their partners. Some are hugely in support of whatever comes their way. But to the men out there who may find it difficult to embrace such situation, just know that it's not your wife's doing. Know that this is the time you have to show the support, not only to your wife and also to the child, and be there. Support in every form. Support them emotionally. Support them financially. Support in every area that this child will need you and your wife will need you. Because you never can tell what that child will turn out to be. It might be the hero of tomorrow that you have actually disowned now.
Absolutely. Now, I did say this is going to snowball into a subtopic where I said parents' corner. Now, parents' corner. Do we have a support system in Nigeria? Do we have like a forum? Is there an enabling environment? Has the government in Nigeria created an enabling environment? Maybe through women affairs and child matters and stuff like that. Is there a parent corner that when a parent finds out, because one thing I can still tell you today is back home, the parents with kids that are struggling with special needs, they don't want to give it a name. They don't want to, they are just scared of hearing that fact their child has autism, the child is autistic, or the child has ADHD. They run away from that name. They don't want to talk about it. So is there a support system where these women or these parents can go to when they have issues like this? That's on one part. Two, I live in a country where when there are kids with special needs, the government takes your back, stand behind you solidly. And that's what the taxes that are being paid in countries like the UK, the US, Canada, Australia are used for. Because sometimes it can be very overwhelming. It can be very, very overwhelming. Some family have 2-3 cases in their home. And the burden most time is on the mothers. It's not as much on the fathers, it's on the mothers. Sometimes in the Western world, the government will bring in living carers that will come and start living with the mothers to help support these kids. And said, okay, so that the mother can go out with the father for date nights, for movies. And so that their siblings can have some breathing space as well. So now, if you can help throw more light on this, how is there, my first question was, is there a support system? Is there like a forum for the parents in Nigeria? Because now we're talking with regards to Africa and the world, but we are narrowing it down to Nigeria now. Is there like a support forum that the government has created? Or is there anyone that you know that you are working with where parents can seek support? And also, how can the government help? The government of Nigeria, President Tinubu, how can they help? Is it just all about spending money to buy convoys and marry 2 extra wives and build houses for girlfriends ex-way in Banana Island and Lekki? Is that what the government is all about? Can they spend part of that money to give probably tax breaks to these parents who have kids that are living with autism or special needs? Also, can there be some sort of incentives, maybe like stipends given to these parents monthly for them to be able to hire a caregiver so that these kids can be looked after on days where the parents want to go into probably like a date night, so that these parents can still have some breathing space. Now there's a challenge that goes online where you see our mothers are looking really beaten, but when you change those women into, when you look after them just with something as small as makeup and give them nice dress and wear and make their hair, they look absolutely flawless. But we have refused to talk about the issue these women are going through in their homes, the challenges they're going through in their homes. Issue like they've got 1 or 2 kids that have got special needs, but because they don't want to come forward to diagnose it, or they don't want to give it a name, they are just dealing with it by themselves. So if we have people like you who are educating people already and said, listen, come forward, give it a name, And also, there is a support system. The government is doing something for you to help you. So please, the two questions. Is there a forum where they can cry to? That's one. Two, what is the government doing to support these women and this family?
Well, special needs is still at a very at the teething stage still in Nigeria. We're still scratching it on the surface.
Absolutely.
So there are some supports for persons with disabilities. You hear that, okay, there are some wheelchairs being given out there. And we have schools that, these are government schools, but are they rightly funded?
But some of the schools are not even are not wheelchair accessible.
Yeah, I know.
You're giving wheelchair, some of the schools are not even wheelchair accessible.
I know.
Do
they have the right resources? Do they even have the right personnel to work with them? Like I said, we are still at the teething stage and we are scratching it. We are far from being there. So and that's even for physical disabilities.
Hello, Anna. How are you?
A lot of educators in Nigeria are not even
I'm going to
aware
ask
of
you a question
intellectual
shortly.
disabilities. Talk less of saying talking about intellectual disabilities such as autism, and then the parents are having carers in homes in Nigeria. No. So where we have support is just parents or that know
Guys,
each
thank you for
other,
joining. Thank you,
whose
Anna.
children have
Thank you,
disability.
Yasin.
They all come together and they form a forum and they help each other. They propagate their environment, their forum, and each one of them just pass the message across to each other just to support one another.
Example of those kind of forums, so that those who are watching can also.
Thank you. Forums in Nigeria that you know of.
Because I'm not a parent. If you're a parent, they will adopt you in. You have to be a parent. I'm not a parent of persons with disabilities. So some of these forums are strictly for parents, and I see them on Facebook. Sometimes they send it to me, but you are not allowed in except you have a child with disabilities.
Are there known ones that you know that you can give us a name so that we can put it out there? So that these parents can, because a lot. Okay, I've got two questions from the live stream at the moment. I've got a question from Anna, which I'm going to take. I've got Yasmin.
I know them, but not in my head right now, because if I check it on my Facebook page,
you will say it. Good. Anna is saying that one of the funniest thing with Nigeria is that the schools in Nigeria are not even well equipped to take in kids with special needs. How do people like you help the government help our people with kids dealing with special needs? Thank you, Anna, for the question.
We create.
Yeah, go on.
Should I?
Yes, please.
So one thing is just creating the awareness. Sensitization is huge for us to let them know. I remember in 2018, I had the privilege of training all the directors in the department of education and skills in Abuja. So all of their inspectors were being trained by my organization, and I was the lead facilitator.
Okay.
But after that, I have not heard anything. And it was all totally new to them. A lot of them who will come into the school to supervise, to inspect the school, they're not even aware of what autism is. But it's not like that today. Today, a lot of them are beginning, they are aware. So, but you can see that those are just even the inspectors, and they are on top of that ladder. How much more teachers in government schools? They don't even know what to do. Where you have a large population of children in a classroom, you are dealing with 30, 60 children, 5 of them or 10 of them have autism. How are they going to cope? And they don't have the right personnel to work with them. So we're still far away from how things should be, and mostly in the government schools. A lot of the private schools, they are aware because people set up, they set up their school, and they know, a lot of them too now know that you cannot even have 5 children without having a child with one form of disability or the other. So they are creating that space and absorbing and adapting and accommodating children with special needs. That's one I am aware of in Abuja and some parts of Nigeria, but not in every part of Nigeria. I still have rejects from some schools that a parent will call me and say, this child was rejected by a school and we'll have to write letters to them. Yes, I've had to write letters to school. And there are some schools that the benchmark is really high and they don't want children with special needs.
Wow.
I know schools that tells me, Laura, we are not absorbing any child with special needs in their school. So it's not an inclusive setting. They already know what they are setting up. So that school is a no-no for a child with special needs.
Oh, wow.
So we are advocating for an extensive inclusion, where a mainstream inclusion, where every school set up will have a special needs children in their school, or will have special needs children accommodated in their school, and with the right support, with training for the teachers, with the rights, that will filter through their lesson plan to their teaching methodology, and everybody in the school is aware that yes, we have people with difference in our school, and we are here to embrace and to make their life also a good journey for them.
Yeah. All right. Quick one. Israel, hold on. Quick one. I'm just going to take another question from one of our viewers. She said something quite important. Said, how equipped are some of these schools that are equipped to take in special need kids? And what are some of the arrangements they've got with parents struggling with kids with special need? Also, are there these schools? Where are they? Is there anyone that you know of? The question is from Anna's Nation. So are there any schools that you know of? And if the schools are there, how equipped are they? What sort of arrangement they've got to support these parents that are struggling with special needs? So if you know anyone, please throw their name out there, please. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. I will do that, and I will do it so covertly because I work with a number of schools.
Awesome.
And if I don't remember one school off my head now, there will be, that would be unfair.
Yeah.
So yes, the arrangements are made in many of the schools.
Okay.
They have special needs teachers working with these children because we say we practice inclusion. So we frown against the child being taken out of the classroom when teaching and learning is taking place. So inclusion means everything the child needs will be given and administered and supported inside the classroom, with that child being around his own peers, learning alongside with their peers. So yes, there are many schools like that in Abuja. I work in Abuja, so yes, I'm aware of that. And the person can contact me. I'll send some of the list of the schools in Abuja to them. So apart from that, we have catch-up sessions where the special needs teacher will break their work into segments and the children are able to learn according to their own pace. We have resources. These are resources that are, some of them are locally found and some of them are internationally brought down to Nigeria. And yes, these children are also availing of them. And apart from that, there are designated rooms that for sensory stimulation and for children to calm down in the sensory rooms. Yes, so a lot of the schools that I am working with, they have such facility provided because my team and myself that we set up such environment for them, and we do it, and it's international standards and it's best practice.
Okay, I hold on, Israel. I've got this question from another viewer. She had just asked. This is very painful. How do you handle emotional burnout from a parent that is struggling with a child with ADHD? That's one question. Now I've got a question on my own. That is very touching, by the way. That came in from a live stream. Now I've got on that question. How do you advise a parent who is feeling bad or is feeling ashamed, thinking that they are the reason why the child has got Down syndrome? How do you advise to such a parent? Now I want you to tackle the first question, which is one of our viewers just asked in the live stream. How do you handle emotional burnout from the parent who is the primary caregiver? So then I ask a follow-up question. What do you say to a parent who feels guilty or who feels ashamed over the fact that the child has been diagnosed struggling with one or two special needs? Attend to that from the live stream first, then you can respond to mine. Anna, thank you, by the way.
So
thank you.
The parents,
Go on.
the parents with emotional burn. Okay.
Yeah.
Should I go
Yeah,
ahead?
please.
So for that parent, first of all, I'll give my listening ears. Most of the time, what people are deprived of is somebody to speak with. Once you have someone to speak with who can empathize with you, who can listen to you, who you know that you have, you can rest your head on their shoulder.
Yeah.
That's the journey has started. That's the beginning of healing. And the thing is that don't bottle in any of this situation. You need to have the right support. You know, I keep talking about network. Networking is key, where you have people you can talk with, your family members are there, and you can also talk to specialists in the field. Some of them, they have their consultation period. For instance, in the different schools I work, I have days that I'm in a particular school. At my door, I operate an open door policy, and I tell the parent I'm always there. So let's come together, let's talk about this thing, and let me give you strategies also so that you can work with your child so effortlessly and seamlessly. Because see, when you have the hand of another person and the person can open up to you, that's when the healing journey starts.
Yeah.
But when you think I'm the only one bearing it, I'm the only one in these shoes, then you just feel you are fixated on that problem. The problem can be sorted when you voice out, and possibly that parent also needs therapies.
Therapy, yeah.
And the right places to go for therapies are also there, that we can look through it, and then we'll send such parents to have such therapies. Then the second question is what was that?
What's the second question?
Oh, my second question was
The burnt out and
yes. How do you support the parent?
Okay, the parent too is
Yes.
guilty.
Yes.
The parent should know first of all that you do not have you shouldn't. Okay, the parent should know that you don't have a control over what goes on in the womb.
Yeah.
You don't. So most of the time we say that is the maternal age that could have caused a child to come out as having Down syndrome. But sometimes I've seen a parent who was 30, in her mid-30s and still had a child with Down syndrome. So what can you say about that? Well, scientifically proven. So one thing you should know is that your biological age start clicking from the day that you start your period too.
Oh wow.
So it's not only your physical age
Yeah.
that will culminate to that. So most of the time, the parents will tend to think that, oh, I'm 40. I've seen people who are 40s and had children, or even late 40s, they had children, and there was
There's no problem.
absolutely nothing wrong with their children.
So you're saying that your biological age starts with when you begin to see a period?
Yes.
You're saying?
Yes.
Wow, that's something new, isn't it?
I'm just learning today. I'm literally learning today. Right. I'm going to let you
So
guys.
it's not necessarily by your age, yeah. Because a lot of people think that their biological clock starts from when they begin to click.
Because, you know,
10 to 30, when they get to 30, they begin to be worried, especially those who are not married, they begin to be worried that, oh, I'm already getting, really old, So they begin to think that that biological clock starts at 30. So that's a myth, is that what you're saying?
Not entirely, but I can tell you that when you have your period, maybe somebody who had the period at the age of 10, 11,
Yeah.
that's when you start producing your eggs.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
As against somebody who started their period at the age of 14.
Wow.
So if you add 20 to that, that person is just 34. But if you add the person who had their period at the age of 10 and 24, so
Wow.
there's a difference between that. And, at some stage, the number of eggs, they start depleting. Then you reach your pre-menopause.
Very
you reach
quickly.
menopause. So you're advised to know that there's a period that you know that you have to start having your children.
Yeah.
And some people freeze their eggs, knowing that, okay, I do not have a partner now, but I still want to be the biological mother of my child.
Oh, wow.
So those are some of the things that people should put into consideration. Wow. So coming back to the parent who is guilty about the fact that she has a child with Down syndrome, there is nothing to be ashamed of. Okay. I've seen children with Down syndrome who are thriving, who are contributing at large to the society,
Absolutely.
who are productive and who are doing very well. Mm-hmm. Back home in Ireland, I've seen people, persons with disabilities doing 5 to 9 jobs, and they're functional. So don't give up. Children are being supported. There are so many schools now, both in Abuja and also in Lagos, that I know of, that are supporting children with Down syndrome, and the children are doing well. These things are kind of they are in different level. How well do you want your child to be? Is it to function well, to be independent, or to be academically sound? Because sometimes if you find out from some parent, it's because, oh, my child is not able to do physics, is not going to eventually become a doctor. What if this person is going to be a fashion designer, or is going to be a musician, is going to be an art, is artistic, and is going to be a professional artist or something like that? Because at the end of the day, you have to know what you want for your child. And you see, the sky is the limit for, we know people who do not even have any disabilities, and yet they are not doing as good as some people with who has disabilities.
Now, I will just dive in here quickly. I've got tons of questions from the live stream, but also I want to ask a question. I'm telling you, you will be shocked. Let me read one of the comments from the live stream. Some organizations in Nigeria are careless about the special needs. Why is the government not putting the people with disability into considerable position? People with disability are being treated unfairly and like a second-class citizen. That's a comment online. What do you have to say about that? And I'm not saying you're the one making the laws, but what do you have to say about that? What's your take on it?
We just have to educate the government.
Absolutely.
We have those people in our midst, and they will always be in our midst. There is no way, I tell people, there is no way we will do without people with disability in our society.
Absolutely, yes.
So the earlier we brace up, the earlier we start doing the right thing, putting the right infrastructures in place, making sure that the advocacy is there for them, and creating the awareness as much as possible,
Yes.
and educating people as much as possible,
Yes.
the earlier the better.
Oh, wow.
We will have these people, and we have to make sure that these people become independent and functional individuals in our society.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, there is an ongoing conversation, right, that implicates vaccines in children with autism.
Ha.
And at the heart of this conversation
Ha.
is the Make America Healthy Again. I know that's shocking, you know.
Israel, before you go into that big pharma hula baloo, I need to ask her 2 questions that just come on. How can parents advocate for their child without feeling as if they are being difficult in schools? How can parents advocate for their children in schools in Nigeria without feeling as if they are being difficult? Yes, that's one. Secondly, what should the teacher know or do that they don't do at the minute?
Thank you very much.
Good.
Parents need to know the right school to go to, first of all.
Yeah.
Because not all schools will be suitable for your children.
Good.
Not all schools also practice inclusion the right way. So get informed. Ask from experts in the field. What right school what is the right school for my child to be? I'm always getting messages from parents asking me, oh, Mrs. Laura, I live in this locality, which of the school is best for my child? And I tell them, because some schools just have these children with special needs just to populate their size.
Oh, wow.
And they will tell you they do X, Y, Z, and they are not doing it. So go be well informed and have the right knowledge before you register your child and enroll your child into any school. The second question you asked.
The second question.
What was the second question? Has that answered your question?
That was one of them. Second one was, how should the parents advocate for their children in schools without feeling as if they are difficult? That was the first one. The second one is, what should the teacher know or do that they are not doing at the moment?
So, for schools, for teachers,
Yes.
they also have to undergo trainings, trainings on how to work with children in their classrooms, because some children who are neurological, who are neurodivergent,
Yeah.
some children who are neurodivergent will not. Some mainstream teachers may not be able to cope with them without the support of a special needs teacher working with that child or therapist working with that child. So, and in a classroom environment, the classroom teacher needs to know that I am responsible for that child in my classroom. So there must be a synergy between the classroom teacher and the special needs teacher, that each one of them needs to build together and work together for the betterment of that child. So going back to your question, that teacher needs to be well informed through training and a lot of empowerment and a lot of trainings and implementation. So it's not just training, you also have to implement whatever you have learned and gained from the trainings.
Yes.
So the school, the stakeholders of each of the schools needs to know that, yes, it is crucial that we train all our teachers so that they know how to work with persons with disability and neurodivergent learners. So that's one. For the parents who feels that becoming a burden to the school?
Yes.
No, you're not.
Okay. Thank you.
Parents need to know that I am responsible for my child.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
responsible for my child's emotion, my child emotional needs, my child's
Well-being.
intellectual needs.
Yes.
I'm responsible for everything that child cannot advocate for themselves at that stage. Yeah. So you need to stand in, and standing in a very polite and positive way. because at the end of the day, you are not the owner of the school. That's why I said gaining information about the right school, because if you go to the right school, they will be readily happy to support you.
Yeah.
But if you go to the wrong school, it will be as though you are just you are sending you are telling them what to do, and they are not just aware of it. But if the schools are aware, they are well equipped, they will even be the one to educate you and tell you that these are the program we have set for your child, these are the resources we have set for your child. So like I said earlier on, the right school will give the right the best results, and you will have best practice in such schools.
Yes, before we move to the big farmer, I've got another question that's just come up. Now this is a double barrel.
Okay.
There's a viewer that just asked, is there any education for parents with kids that's got special needs? That's our first question. Yes? Secondly, how many of you are out there in Nigeria right now? And how many, I want to try and put it in the nicest way. Are you training people and then hiring them to schools? Because that's the question. That's the question. Are you training people and hiring them to school? The first one was, how many of you are out there? The second one was, is there any education for parents with kids that's got special needs? First one, how many of you are out there? What are they training for parents with kids that's got special needs? And how many of you are out there? And are you training people? Yes, are you training people and hiring them to schools? Please. I think the person that asked that question is an educator. It's an educator. The person that asked that question is an educator. So go on, please. Let's hear you.
Okay. So I own an organization, Horizon Educational Consultants Services.
Absolutely.
So
go on.
In that organization, in the course of my years in Nigeria,
yes,
I've been able to train thousands of teachers.
Absolutely good.
And
good.
I will say that I train almost every week. And I train both mainstream teachers and special needs teachers.
Okay.
How many of us are out there?
Yeah.
I know I'm out there.
Okay.
I know that there are very few of us that are out there, not so many. And yes, but are we out there? That's the major thing, is that are there people who are involved with persons with disabilities? Yes, we are out there, but there are very, very few.
Okay.
So, and most of the time you see people like myself that are doing it. It's either maybe the person has a child with special needs. I don't have a child with special needs. It's passion, it's my own calling that has brought me into the field. And yes,
You guys are frozen. Can't hear you guys, you're frozen. Anna, they are frozen. So like you can see, we are on the live stream, guys. Thank you for your support. I can see you guys liking it. I'm in awe. Oh, you are satisfied with the honesty. Thank you, Anna. Please share the live stream, guys. Give a thumbs up if you're happy with what we're doing here, and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel as well. Leave your questions. Send me your questions. Anna, thank you. You say you are satisfied with her answers. Thank you. It's something I'm very passionate about, by the way. So that's why.
The recording has stopped.
Okay. So the recording has stopped. So they're going to come back on. So Anna, we can be talking while they come back on. So thank you guys for joining the live stream. Well, our country actually have a long way to go. Listen, Anna, you hear people like me speaking on social platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, because I think it's time for a change. I mean, when I was growing up, my dad said, be a good person, be a good citizen, so that tomorrow you can become the leader, because you're the leader of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is here. I can't tell you my age now, but tomorrow is here. I'm still having to be
This meeting
led.
is being recorded.
I'm still having to be led by these old people. Yes, I was born in, I'm one of the 90s babies. So my age, I'm supposed to be leading the country. There's nothing wrong if I'm the president of Nigeria right now as we speak. There's nothing wrong because I've got the experience. I mean, I'm a youth, and I think I will do better than the leading president at the moment. I mean, Ibrahim Traore is a human being. He's in my age bracket. So what I'm trying to say, people like me are beginning to speak up. When you hear people like VDM speaking up, people like Showore speaking up, yes, people like Barrister, what's his name again? I've forgotten his name, speaking up. It's because of the fact that we're tired. We're tired of just seeing same old faces and nothing is moving. With all the natural resources we've got, we should be better than Dubai. So when you say our country have a long way to go, Anna, our country have a long way to go. Now, with the issue of ADHD and special needs, I would say we need to be speaking to the big farmers. Is it all about making money for them? Can we not be gambling with the life of people? Yes, you can say tired is an understatement, but for me, I'm really tired. The problem, one of the issues that I face is when people see you, the fact that you are black, one, and two, the fact that you carry a Nigerian passport makes you a suspect. Once you drop down from any airport in the world, the fact that you are black, you can be wearing a white shirt, it doesn't matter. The fact that you are black and the fact that you're carrying a Nigerian passport makes you a criminal. And Nigerians are one of the most hardworking people you can find on earth. Any country where you go, where you arrive and you cannot find Nigerians, that country is not doing well. That's why you cannot find Nigerians there. Not just Nigerian men, no. I mean men and women. Guys, please give a thumbs up if you like, if you are happy with the live stream, if you're happy with what we're talking about here, and just like and share the live stream. Also, our women are very, very hardworking. Yes, once they see you, they automatically think you are a scammer. Our girls as well are very hardworking as well. Our women are one of the most industrious women on earth. But one of the funniest thing is, once you as a woman, once you are spotted in any of the airports, and you just show your face as a Nigerian, whether you are black or you are fair or whatever complexion you are, and you flash that passport, they will say, this one, oh, she's come here to prostitute. God will not punish you if you have a big breast and a big yansh. Oh, your own is finished as a woman. Once they just see you, fine girl, you are holding a Nigerian passport, you have a big yansh, you have a big breast, this one is a prostitute. They will just immediately stereotype you. The men, they are 419ers, are criminals. The women are prostitutes. That's why we had issues with Dubai. I think it was a year or two ago when Dubai was no longer allowing our people coming to their country. Nigeria, with the resources we have in Africa, with the resources we have in Nigeria, my God, we should be living like people in the first world country. Oh, Goddess, how are you? Goddess Yvonne, how are you? Thank you for joining the live stream. Listen, you guys are making this pop. I like your questions. Somebody's asking, my boss in America, in Nigeria. I don't understand your question, Goddess.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I was just responding to the people on the live stream. We've got Goddess on the live stream. We've got
Okay, so let's go with our question.
Okay, guys, I'll join you guys back to where. Just listen as we're talking, so I can still ask me questions, and I will ask it to the expert in the house. So, guys, thank you for joining.
Okay, so now, we're going to these the big farmer, you know.
But you guys lost me somewhere. Remember, you lost me somewhere.
Sorry?
You lost me somewhere. Remember?
Yes.
Where was it?
Where did we lost you?
It was when she was answering the last question before the big farmer. It was when she was answering each topic that surrounds. She trains a lot of people. She equally has an organization that trains people, that trains teachers and stuff. That was where she guys lost me.
Okay.
Hello, Yvonne.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. So, guys, quick one.
So,
For those of you on the
what
live
you
stream, if you
want
have
me
any
to say?
questions, please ask me.
Do you have a question for me already?
Oh yeah, I do have a question for you before we go into the big pharma, right?
But I need to ask my question now.
Please fire away, fire away, fire away. Go on,
Okay.
guys. Sorry, it's yours.
Okay. I think I have. Okay. First, this is the first question. There's an ongoing conversation. I know you will have a follow-up question on that, but let me lay that. There's an ongoing conversation that implicates vaccines in children, with autism. And central to the heart of this conversation is the Make America Healthy Again, championed by R.F. Kennedy, who is the Secretary of Health in the United States. What's your take on that? How has vaccines impacted the lives of children?
Okay, because this is a very delicate question, and I will always talk with facts.
Yeah.
If there are no facts and evidence, I will not support it. So I will say that for me, based on study,
Yes.
I doubt it if any of this disability was being caused by the vaccine.
Okay.
But one thing is that vaccine may trigger an underlying problem.
Okay.
So if something is already there, and these are hidden disabilities that manifest with time.
Okay.
Because you will see your child having one word, responding to their needs,
Okay.
and all of a sudden, after a certain stage, they start losing it. You will notice that the child that was initially saying mama, papa, couldn't say it again. And those are the things that would tell you that this child had autism. Or the child that was walking well initially and started tiptoeing, or now putting toys in a straight line, or has no speech, or has limited speech, or is echolalic, echoing what people say to them. So this behavior manifests with time. So going back to the vaccine one, behaviors that are not fully blown, they have not really manifested completely.
Okay.
Something could trigger it.
Okay.
I will say I had the last, when we had COVID-19, I took the first
Jab.
one
Yeah.
and the second jab. And that night I was all feverish, I was unwell.
Okay.
By the next day I was okay. Yes, that's a manifestation of the incubation I had, the inoculation I had, the immunization I had for COVID.
Okay.
So not incubation, I beg your pardon.
That's all right.
That I had. But that doesn't mean that I have COVID, because then we introduce the same gene into you, and so that your body will build the antibodies, the antigen was introduced, and then your body will fight it. Yes, that's what vaccine does to the system.
Yes.
But to say that vaccine is the cause of autism, is the cause of this, how come that some children take the same vaccine and they don't have it?
Okay.
So if the statistics has proven that 500 children in a particular locality or in a demographic, they took this vaccine and they all had autism, yes, we'll clap and say yes, we'll tie it to that particular vaccine, but not in all cases.
Okay. All right.
Because you know that everybody is also gaining the awareness of what autism is. Some people will think autism is even ADHD. Some people will think ADHD is when a child has OCD. Some people will think that autism is when a child has some sensory processing disorders. So They are different in all these disabilities.
Are different,
They
yeah.
differ
The
from one
difference,
to
yeah.
another, and people kind of interchange them from time to time.
Okay, right. I'm not a big fan of Trump like Israel, but I can certainly tell you we disagree on that ground. I'm not a big fan of Trump like Israel. Israel is, but I can tell you that I like the work that Trump is doing with the big farmers and through JF. I like the work he's doing with the big farmers. Now, you said the vaccine is not automatically. There's no proof that it's linked, right? Now I have a follow-up question for that. Is it really needed? Is vaccine really needed? And is it, have there been any research? Has this vaccine been tested to say, yes, this is what they actually do? Have they done any sort of test? Because from what I'm reading, from what I can see, some of us didn't take vaccine when we're growing up. And we're still well and living well today. Some people didn't take the COVID vaccine. And they didn't catch COVID one day. Yes? So what the question is, for parents who are towing the path of, I don't want my child to be vaccinated. Please, is vaccine needed? Or is just another money-making scheme for the big pharma? Thank you.
Okay. Well, I will say from my own experience too.
Yeah.
My mother had polio as a child. And if she had had polio vaccine,
Yeah.
possibly she may not have had it. I vaccinated all my children, different stages. You have the MRM, measles, rubella,
Yeah.
and meningitis. When you vaccinate a child, you are limiting their exposure to different forms of diseases that is out there.
Okay.
And if you choose not to vaccinate your child, then you should also put your child in an incubator where your child will not mix in the environment and will not be prone to any diseases or any situation out there.
Okay.
So the reason why you vaccinate a child is because you want the child's immune system to be ready to fight against this the disease when they come across it.
Okay.
We've all seen times when we had chicken pox.
Yeah.
Or smallpox. There is vaccination for smallpox, and I know that they are also pumping money for malaria vaccination and vaccines.
Okay.
So, at the end of the day, it's like I would say to you, it's also personal. It depends on an individual to choose if you want to have have your child vaccinated or not. Because for me, I will rather, because your children they are going to mingle with other children. And you don't know if a child is a carrier of XYZ, you don't know. So, and that's the reason why you have a child to be vaccinated. But like I mentioned earlier on, I will say that vaccination will not be, it's not totally proven, and there are no key evidences and facts out there that a particular vaccination aided this kind of difficulty or disability in a child.
Okay, for the purpose of today, I'm not going to dive into a lot of things, but we're going to have to bring you back again. But let me ask this question. What would you say to an American lawyer who wrote something very touching? He said, I defend people for a living. That's what I do for a living. My job is to defend my client. But I can look at my son in his eyes and I couldn't defend him. A child, I took him to the hospital by myself to go and take an injection. Before I took the child in, we were talking, we were interacting, we were playing, and we're having all sorts. But since the day I brought that child home from having taken the vaccine, the child refused to communicate. All the child is doing is like the child is trapped inside his body. He's not trapped. Now, one of the reasons I'm saying this, that's why I said we're going to have to bring you back, Miss Laura. I'm pleading. We're going to have to bring you back because this topic, there's a lot to unpack about it. Yes, I live in the Western world as well. And when I go and visit some of my friends, what I'm seeing, I'm not happy with it. You see these kids struggling, literally struggling. A lot of them, they want to say things, but they can't say it. And they're just busy humming everywhere. And you can see that these children want to interact. They want to engage. And some of them, you can see the rage inside of them. They are bouncing off the wall. Now, a lot of people have linked this to the vaccine that they're being given. Now, how can you educate us on that? And I know you're going to try and toe a very fine line here because you wouldn't want to agree or disagree. No, it's okay. It's okay because you're going to be political because obviously it's your profession and I understand that. But those who are looking to jackpot from Nigeria to the UK and those who are already jackpot, it's time for you to listen. Once you go and give birth to a child in the hospital, you can't walk away with that child because in Nigeria you can walk away and say, I don't want the vaccine. For those of you who are now living in the UK, or for those of you who are about to come into the UK, Madam, Oga, you cannot walk away from that hospital without vaccinating the child. In fact, they will collect the picking for your hand. Yes? So, ma'am, I don't want to be, I said today, I don't want to be emotional. I just want to talk peacefully so that we can wrap up this. How do you advise those parents that the reason why that your child who were communicating before when you gave birth to them, and after they've taken their first dose, their second dose, their third dose, the child is now misbehaving, and the child which you brought from Nigeria that didn't take vaccine is perfectly fine, by the way? How do you educate these people? Because I know a lot of people who probably have their first kids, it's their first child in Nigeria, and they flew the child in along with them, and now they've given birth to two here. And they're not struggling with such a child with special need. Take us home with it. Thank you.
So, I'm not going to sit on the edge, but at the same time, I'll still strongly say that it's not in all cases. And it's so touching to hear that initially the particular child were thriving, and shortly after the vaccination, the child regressed.
Yeah.
There are times that we may not know that, we're not aware that there had been underlying manifestation of behavioral situation in our children.
Yes.
For instance, many years back, if somebody doesn't have speech, we'll say the person is deaf and dumb, or the child is just a dullard. But now we have a name. Back in my time, we didn't know that it was autism, it was dyslexia, it was dyscalculia, it was general learning difficulties. But awareness has created that. So with this vaccine too, if there are no facts, and it's just one family there, two families there, and I know maybe quite a number of people whose child began to regress, they came together and said it's the vaccine. Other people too took it. Why not? What happened to those that took it and their children did not manifest such behaviors? That's where, that's why it's highly controversial for us and it's not one heart fit all. And whilst you're saying this, what came to mind is that possibly there have been other things that we just didn't pay attention to, and this immunization triggered it.
Okay.
And like I mentioned, when I had the COVID, it's made me to be very unwell, but I became well a day after.
Okay.
But my body is not the body of an infant.
Yeah.
It could be a reaction. It could be the reactions in such children that now prolonged and now made it to be full-blown underlying problem that was there to now manifest completely.
Okay. I heard of a family, right? A family in Canada, and the child began to manifest certain behavior that linked him to autism, and it was recommended that the child left Canada back to Nigeria. And when the child came back to Nigeria, the child became normal. What's your explanation to that?
You see, we are talking about a population. We are not talking about one person. Those are trickles. And was the child fully assessed, fully diagnosed with autism? When the child came to Nigeria, what happened? Was the child fully supported? Maybe the therapies that the child was availing worked for him better in Nigeria. Maybe the child had the right support. So, we need to...
But don't explain when you said that there are different factors that could lead to, or that could trigger some of these special needs and disabilities in children. So, could it be that the environment where he was, maybe Canada, was what triggered that?
The food they eat,
Explain in that light.
the amount of sweet, the amount of food in their diet, the kind of things in their diet.
There are environmental factors such as maybe exposure to...
Some of these foods, these food are made from the lab. So now this is the reason why I tell my sisters and my brothers who you're looking to leave a country. I know the country is not doing well, but remember, you're going to a country where things are organized. So you have little or no control over what happens to your children. Yes, you have little or no control over what happens to your child. Even this kind of education the child is given, you have little or no control over it. So remember, the issue of kids with disability, in as much as it's not that much reported in Nigeria, we don't have that there's no statistical numbers to back it up. The number is still very, very low. It's very low.
We have 35.1 million.
Yeah, but those figures can be inflated.
Yeah.
Yes, those figures can be inflated by the government agencies who just want to get money. Yes, I can tell you that.
Yes.
So I can look down on my immediate siblings, their children. We don't have anyone in my family. Yes. So where did they get 35 million from? Is there a permanent secretary somewhere or a minister somewhere that just want to get money? So this is a topic that we need to continuously sit on and address. Anyway, I'll let Israel take it away.
Okay. Now, thank God for technology. We begin to see the rise in technology. And even if we have to bring in the scripture, the Bible, being a Christian, about say in the end times, technology will increase. And of course we've seen, technology is on a fast pace, and sometimes we feel lost. We have the AIs and all that. Now I want to bring you back to technology. There is a neurochip being invented by Elon Musk. Of course, Elon Musk is the richest man, one of the greatest inventors in mankind. And this new chip is, it said it's been implanted in the brain or in the arms. And this has helped. I think the test, and I think in 2024, I think the company announced that the test was successful. And of course, helped some of these people with this kind of disabilities. Now, my question is, Nigeria, and of course, we have a large population of religious people, religious folks, and people who also will say that that this is a sign of the beast. That's when you'll be asked to put something on your forehead, or you'll be asked to put something on your right hand. That this is a representation of the end of times and a representation of what is popularly known as in the Bible among Christendom as a 666. Now, do you advise people to avail themselves of these technologies that can help advance human race and humanity? Especially in this case of special needs, because of course this chip is focused on people with disabilities.
Like I will always say, it's also personal, because you don't know how long has this been in implementation. We need to know the longevity of this thing, because at the end of the day, the same thing with this vaccination that we are saying could later on, people will say it was when they started the
implant, yeah.
The child was doing well initially, and then after some time, the child later regressed.
Yeah.
So I will still say that, let everybody know what they want to do. As far as I'm concerned, it's a subjective thing.
Yeah.
And you as an individual or as a parent, you can say you make the decision.
Yeah, but did you subscribe to those religious fanatics who would say that because they see this as a representation of the sign of
the beast,
666? So do you subscribe to those kind of opinions?
So far, I see that the chip does not have 666 on it. The chip that has the number 666, I will not take that one.
Okay, right.
But I will say that yes, whether we like it or not, it's this 666 thing is evolving one way or the other.
The other, yeah.
And technology is going to be the one that will actually propagate it.
Now, hold on, Israel.
Can autism make one Elon Musk, right? He has a spectrum of autism.
Yes.
Is every child who has this kind of spectrum or has this kind of special needs, does it make them to be genius?
So we have some, like I said, it's a spectrum. Some are high functioning and they become those are the savants. Not all high functioning individuals are savants in the society, and they have a particular traits that it makes them to function in like superheroes, and they have abilities that are way higher than every other person. Their IQ is different from normal. So, and then we have some that are low functioning. So it's a spectrum. So it's not in all cases that persons with autism or disability will have one special ability or the other.
Okay, let me make a quick submission. Based on what you just said now, Ma, I have somebody which Israel knows very well, and I'm going to make this submission. She's a lady, she's got special needs, and she's a family friend to me. She's into fashion designing. She lives in Port Harcourt. As I'm just saying it now, she understands who I'm talking about. She knows I'm talking about her. And she's doing absolutely well. in fashion designing, and she's crushing it in Port Harcourt. She's one of the famous fashion designers in Port Harcourt. She can barely speak. This is now more than stammering. You know, when people talk and they stammer. But she can barely put a speech together. Yes, but she's doing well in fashion designing. Absolutely well. Yes, thank God she's married. She has an amazing husband as well. I know her husband. So glory to God on that. Now, my first question is, how do you advise parents? Because you said there are some of them with high spectrum and some of them with low spectrum. Yes? How do you advise parents to say, hey, just sort of give them some sort of hope to say it's not all bad news. This one might got autism, but it's a high spectrum. You are expecting to have an Elon Musk in your hand. Yes? So how do you advise parents? Then when you finish that, I want to take us to the church, back to church again, because I've got a question to ask you there. Please, take it away.
Okay.
So, not in all cases you have persons with disabilities having that special abilities.
Okay.
But the ones that do not have the special abilities should equally be supported and tapping into their strength. Mm-hmm. And, when you know their strength, you begin to use that strength to build them. You use that strength to work on every area of their lives. So, for instance, a child may like a particular thing. Use that thing to as an incentive to teach the child.
Oh wow!
So, people with disabilities or neurodivergent individuals.
Wow!
Not all of them will become heroes and have special abilities like each and every one of us.
Yeah.
So that's your Port Harcourt cousin, who is a fashion designer. Is just one of those persons with super abilities, and maybe they knew at a
very tender age,
in good time, and tapped into that. Yes, and likewise, I've come across a number of children who will have abilities in drawing, artistic abilities, and they are thriving. And we've had some who are musical, and the parents will put a lot of effort into whatever they are good at.
Wow.
So hope is never lost for any child. Getting the right support, getting the right intervention, having the children assessed at the right time is crucial. And also knowing that assessment will create access.
Wow.
And not labeling at the end of the day, So, because that's what a lot of parents run away from. They don't want their children to be assessed so that they won't be labeled. But at the end of the day, when you assess these children, they have access to what they will need, and they will gain the right support they require at an early stage.
Okay, wow, what a very good segue to my next
question.
question.
We have 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes, so...
Quick one.
We have 10 minutes.
We have 10 minutes. So I know. So
yeah.
Now, we live in a country where everything is all about, I'm going to meet my pastor. A child have headache, I'm going to meet my pastor. A child is not talking properly, I'm taking the child to my pastor. Now we have the Celestial Church where a child is not talking well, they just bring the child and flog the child, flog, till the child passes out. Now, how do you educate people like that to say, a child can have special needs. It's okay for the child to have a special need. It's not all about flogging. Everything is not about miracle and prayers. How do you help this set of people to let them know it is not what you need to go and meet your pastor for? You just need to be diagnosed so that the child can have access to what the child needs. Please, take it away.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. So there is a place for prayers, which I will not rule out.
Yeah.
But there is a place for the parents to know that you have to give the right support to your child.
Okay.
So early intervention is key. Don't run away don't be in denial, because once you are in denial, you will think that prayer is what will take it out from the child. Prayer has its own place, but the first thing is that if you have a headache, some people will pray about it and it will go. If it persists and it doesn't go, won't you go to the hospital and have yourself checked on?
They start fasting and prayer now.
So you should do so you should, if you fast while you have headache, you will have much more headache. So, and that's where specialists come into play.
Yeah.
God has endowed specialists as well as the knowledge they acquired in education, in their educational field, so that they can put the right support, the right strategies to help individuals with special needs and and so on. So if you don't avail of the right tool that you need, if you don't go for the right something is
Right.
if you don't go for the right I don't even know what I want to say. So just go for the right
Help.
support.
Seek the right support, the right help.
Help,
Yeah.
assistance that you will require. And don't be in denial.
Okay.
Pastor will pray and support you while you go for the right thing to do for your child.
Okay.
Because time is of the essence. Most of these disabilities can be helped at an early stage.
Okay.
And I'm an advocate of a stitch in time
Saves 9.
saves
yeah.
9.
Yes, absolutely.
When you do the right thing, the child can be supported in good time. But if you wait, you are just you are making the thing to be prolonged.
Okay.
And there will be more support the child will require much later. Why don't you do the needful at the right time? Don't wait until the situation is almost a bad case.
Bad case,
And I've seen, I've seen situations like that where a child is not held on they are even past. I've had to assess children who are in their late teens. And what was the parent doing when they were still infants, when they were still toddlers? What were they doing?
That's true.
So I'm also a believer, but I also know that go for the right thing that your child will require. Meet the right personnel that will help your child right now. Don't wait until later.
Okay, right. I just need to take a minute. Hold on, Israel. I need to take a minute to read these two messages from two
Yeah, we're
persons.
running out of time.
I know. I just want to take a minute to read these two messages from
Okay.
two of our viewers. And now the first one is a mom of a son. Her name is Amanda. She said, "Hi, my name is Amanda. I'm a single mom of a beautiful 6-year-old boy. His name is Liam, who was born with Down syndrome and recently diagnosed with ADHD. Some days it feels like I am failing. I'm failing him. I am exhausted, I am overwhelmed, and unsure if I am doing anything right. Schools has been a huge challenge, and I often get calls about his behavior or attention span. He is so full of love and light, but the world doesn't seem to understand him. And sometimes I am afraid I don't understand him either. How can I better support him emotionally while also making sure I take care of myself? And I just want to raise him with dignity and strength, but some days I feel like I am drowning." That's mother number one. Now the second person, which is the last one. "I don't even know how to put this into words without crying. I am a mother of an 8-year-old girl, my sunshine, my warrior. She has Down syndrome and ADHD, and every single day is a storm and a miracle wrapped in one. I love her more than life, but the truth is, I am tired, absolutely tired. Not just tired, I am broken. Sometimes we fight, God, we fight. Not in anger, but in pain. She screams and throws things because her word feels too loud. I cry in the kitchen because I don't want her to know that I'm crying. I cannot help her regularly because of my tears and the emotion that comes in me, or even to explain why she can't attend birthday of like other kids. She looks at me and those big eyes like I am supposed to have answers to the reason why she's not allowed to attend other kids' birthday. Some days she clings to me and tells me I am a hero. Other days she pushes me away with all her strength and tells me I am mean to her for not letting her eat candy or for breakfast. And I try not to take it personal, but my heart shatters in pieces. What's hardest is watching the world treat her like she is less, teachers who calls her too much, kids who stare at her, other moms who don't invite us anymore to birthday parties. I feel like we are living in a bubble. No one wants to come near us. She is magic. She is brilliant in her own way. She remembers song after hearing them for the first time. She feels everything with her whole soul. You can't, you can't. The world can't see it. Lastly, I just want one day where I don't have to explain or defend her. One day where I can breathe and feel like I am not failing her. I love my daughter with every breath I have. I just wish loving her didn't feel so lonely. What do you have to say to these people?
So I think what she will say with the question I'm going to ask will then wrap up what these people have. I mean, these comments, it's really heart touching. And I hope this will give answers. You know, you've likely witnessed incredible breakthroughs in your work. Now, could you share a story of a client's progress that surprised or deeply moved you? And what it taught you about resilience or the potential for growth? Now, these people who have sent in their messages, we can hear the pain from the heart. Maybe a story you're going to share with us about someone's progress or growth could be that thing that will inspire them and make them not to give up and continue to aspire for growth and progress in the child's health.
I'm really touched by the two parents, and each one of them echoed each other's situation
And pain. Yeah.
And just know that there are people out there that wants to listen to you. And there are people out there that empathize with you. There are people out there that will give your child or children the right supports. And that's why someone like me left my children and my husband and he left them miles and thousands miles away. And I'm working in Nigeria to support children who require my need.
Yeah.
And these are children with special needs. And I'm happy to do that. And that's because my husband and my children are my strength. And they tell me, Mommy, you are here, you are in Nigeria because they need you more. So I want you to look into my eyes right now and know that there are people out there that are more than happy to support you, and you're never alone. You're not the only one going through this. You're not the only mother that is going through this. Your child may not, some children, it may not even be that a child has one disability or the other, or it might be something else. So it's a journey in life, and I want you to brace up and to be that strength for your child. And as well as have strong network around you. You need support network. You cannot do it alone. You need people who will be there to support you. You need good friends around you. You need families around you. And you need to speak out. Don't bottle in anything so that you don't also have emotional breakdown or mental and health issues. So the more you speak out about this thing and the more you let people know, yes, I have a child with Down syndrome and I need the help, people will be more than willing to help you. One thing that crushes people most of the time is when we think that, oh, we don't want anybody to know. There are parties that your child will go to and they will open their doors to you. I remember back home when my children were still toddlers. My youngest is 20 years old. So, and I will open my door to my friends who have children with autism. I'm sure one of them is watching me right now. And those children want to play differently, and we will play with them differently. And that time I was not even fully immersed in what I'm doing and embedded in what I'm doing now. So it's not all parties that will call, all situations that will close their doors at you, but you voice out and don't bottle in things. To wrap up, yes, I've had success stories. How many do you want me to say? I know children who started with me and with us. You know, when I said with me, I meant my team and myself. That this particular child had autism and and he couldn't write, he couldn't do much. And after a couple of years with intervention and the support we gave him and strategies, this child competed in the school with the spelling bee, and he won. Wow. He did very well. He surpassed everybody in the school. I have known children who had dyslexia, and we put them with the right support. The children are no longer availing of our support because they are thriving and they are doing well. Wow. And they know it's not like, oh, the child started scoring 60%, 90, 99, with the right support. Some children with autism and with ADHD, with the right support, you see that those children are calmer and they know that, okay, they follow the school routine and they are thriving very well. So, like I will say, yes, get the right support. Support is always out there. Speak out, ask questions. We are online, I mentioned, Horizon Educational Consultancy Services. We are
put your link on the
yes, for both Instagram and Facebook, and we have the websites too that you can always just contact us, and we are always there to help and support. And it's not me alone. There are other organizations out there that are, because it will be overwhelming for just myself alone to support all the children that we have, and some of them that are still just coming up. So there are other organizations too that are more than able to support you and to be there for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. So we I think we'll be wrapping up. But
yes.
Before we do, can you give something to our viewers? Those who might want to contact you, who will want to, purchase a service, can you give them a discount for viewing us, and of course, coming to you,
coming through us,
viewing this. Yeah?
For coming through our channel? If they say, yeah, how, mom, we saw your podcast on Common Sense, and we are contacting you because this and this is what we want to do. Is there any sort of special rates for them?
Yes, I'll give 30% reduction for them.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Did you guys hear that? It's a 30% reduction if you come through Common Sense.
So the first 10 persons. Yes, the first 10 persons, they will get 10% from our services.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, 30%.
Oh, 30%. The first 10 people will get 30% from their services. Ma, thank you. Guys.
30%.
30%.
Yeah.
Okay.
30%.
Guys, I want to say something quickly, guys. I want to appreciate you for those of you who have stayed long to watch this podcast. I would say if this is the sort of content that you crave for, please subscribe. And if you find it interesting, please share it to your friends and family. And also, don't forget, leave your comments. Leave your comment. We're going to be reading comments as well. We'll be reading comments and then we'll respond to it. And if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. We'll take it to Mrs. Nora for her to respond to it.
Mrs. Lara will be on our comment section also to be answering your questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you guys. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Sorted.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank
Enjoy
you,
your
everyone.
holiday.
Thank you.
Enjoy your vacation. Right? Enjoy your vacation.
I will. All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
No worries at all. Thank you.
By the way, he's my brother.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So yeah.
You see? I'm just.
Fight a lot. We have a common cause.
That's true. That's
I
true.
really enjoyed myself.
Me, same here. Thank you. Thank you.
Having me.
Thank you. We
It's
appreciate
an
it. Thank you.
opportunity to be here and to be here to be a voice to all those parents. But early intervention is key. So they just need to do the right thing in the soonest time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Take care.
No worries.
And bye for
Bye.
now.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you, everyone. For those of you who are still on the live stream, I'm sure you guys heard what she said. She's willing to give 30% to the first 10 people who comes through common sense, right? For those of you who are still on the live stream, the channel is called SortedTV, and please remember to subscribe. Leave your question, and absolutely will respond to it. And like she said, she's going to be on our comment section. If you have any burning question that you want to ask, probably a question that you had in your mind but you didn't want to talk about, you can leave it in the comment section and she would be there to respond to it. And guys, the issue of the topic surrounding special needs, ADHD, and kids with autism, it's not something we can unpack in one section. So I would say we're going to be bringing her back in to come and educate us more. There are other questions I wanted to ask. Issue of a child has special needs and a church, the mother takes the child to church and they're just flogging the child and say the child has witchcraft. Is that really witchcraft? Or the child is possessed? The child might just have a special need. And what happens in Africa is they just take the child to one Baba Aladura somewhere, or one Cherubim and Cherub somewhere, or one backyard hospital somewhere. Before you know, they will flog the living daylight out of a child. It's just everything in Nigeria is forceful and beating. That's not how the world runs. Some of these things are they just probably need some mild touches. These children just need to be diagnosed so that we can know this is what they are actually struggling with. But some parent thinks, let's take her to church, let's take him to church. That's not what. And now I'm not saying the place of prayers, like what you hear her say, it's not welcome. No, I'm not saying you shouldn't pray. But while you are praying, please diagnose these children. Don't be praying and flogging the children and then leaving the main thing you're supposed to do. Yes, what I would advise you is, as you are praying, please take these children for diagnostic. Let them go and get diagnosed. He said, early diagnostic will give you the access you need to raise the children, the support the children need. So, in summary, what I can see here is, one, the Nigerian government is not doing enough to support families that have got kids with special needs. Secondly, the parents themselves are so ashamed to the point where they don't want to take the children to be diagnosed. Right. Thank you, Anna. Ignorance is expensive. And that thing, yes. The parents don't want to take the kids to be diagnosed because they don't want to attach a name to it. They don't want to say, that woman, Mama Sarah, one of her Pekin, get autism. It's not a bad thing. There are kids with autism. There are autistic kids that are doing well. Elion, one of the richest guys on earth, he's autistic. There's nothing wrong. There are people surviving with it and living with it and doing well with it. Like you heard today, where she said, if you diagnose it on time, the child will get the support they need. that will fire them up to the next level. The problem we are having is we don't want to bring the child forward to diagnose the child. Yes? They are living in denial, and that is not killing the kids. Hello, Ellen. How are you? Hi, how are you doing? Welcome. Thank you for joining. Sissy say hello, everyone. Sissy, how are you? Thank you for joining as well. The problem is some of these parents have, they don't want to diagnose it. They're living in denial. It's not, nobody is doing some voodoo to you. It might just be that is how the child, something happened in the womb. Because you can't see the child. You can't see the child during the formative stage. And it's not your fault either. And there's a lot of myths I was supposed to ask this woman. I was supposed to ask Mrs. Laura, I couldn't ask her, where people will say, when you are pregnant, you shouldn't have sex. I don't want to say it because I don't want YouTube to have issue. They'll say, when you are pregnant, you shouldn't have XES because once the man is poking, doing tuki with you, the man's thing will go and be touching the child in the brain. Because of that, the brain of the child will. Who told you all that, madam? Where did you hear that from? Where is the proof? Show me. Show me. Why are you saying things you don't know? Have you guys heard about that? Anna, you're laughing, isn't it? Miss your head about it. They will say, when you are pregnant, don't be doing tuki. Because if you do tuki, the man's thing, because it's long, very long, it will not be choking the child in the head. Madam, that's a lie. Yes, that's a lie. Where the child stays in the womb and where the you know what I'm talking about. Some of you are even sports. Where that thing goes to, they don't meet. Some other one will say, the child will know that my father is here. So there's a lot of myths everywhere. They say, you need to be doing it so that the child can know that his father is here, and the father is. Madam, please, Oga, that's a lie. So we're going to bring her back up some other time. Hence the reason why I say you guys should subscribe and share our channel to other people so that they can subscribe to us as well. So that we can be bringing in guests that can talk about topics that are burning. We're going to bring in guests that will talk about something entertaining as well, things that you can laugh about, but these are very serious topics. So we're going to bring in other guests to talk about some other things, and we're going to bring financial experts to come and teach us, most especially those of us that live in the Western world. How can we manage our money? Yes, that's one thing I'm very good at, money management. I can actually take you guys on the road of money management. Yes, so if you want us to organize this section where we talk about money management, I can organize it with you guys, and we can come and teach ourselves on how to actually manage money. And we'll go through those things that you are paying for you actually don't need. There's a lot of things you pay for in the Western world you don't need. If I take you through your account right now, and I'll tell you some of the things you are paying for, you don't need them. And if you cancel them, those direct debits you have in your account, if you cancel them, you will not miss them. Absolutely. But that's a topic for another day. So if you want us to dive into this financial management, how to manage your finances, I can take you guys to school on that. I've done that for a lot of people. I've done that for my friends. Some of them are now debt-free. The aim is to make you debt-free. That's what I'm here for. And the funniest thing is the country which you live in, the Western world, some of you live in the UK, in America, the government of the Western world don't want you to be debt-free. The government don't want you to be debt-free because they make money off you just being in debt. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. They want to keep making money off you because once you are indebted to them, you keep paying them money, but you don't have enough money to actually look after yourself and your kids. Some of you earn 2.5 grand. If you're on this live stream and you earn over 1,500, you should be living well. Reason why you should be in debt. So you need to talk to me. We need to organize a section like this where we can speak to ourselves and tell ourselves some home truth. And when we talk, you would see that, and you listen to what I've got to tell you, you will see that you don't really need, you will not be in debt anymore. And all I'm asking you to give me is 12. That's it. But let's keep on the topic of kids with special needs. Yes, I would say for parents, early diagnostics is very important. 2, guys, hold on. I'm on holiday at the moment. I'm on holiday, but I'm getting calls from my office back, and they don't understand what it means to be on holiday. So my secretary is trying to call me. So message me, please. Let me say message me, please. Good. So I would say early diagnosis is key. 1. 2, don't be shy, don't be afraid, and don't feel alone. Speaking out, let other people help you. There are support systems everywhere that can help you. So that is the key. There are people out there to support you. So remember that. If you don't speak up, you will not get anyone to support you. And like you heard, yes, the government of Nigeria is not doing enough, but there are forums out there that you can attach yourself to that can help you. It's not, you might not know about it, but if you just leave us a message, come on our comment section and comment, and we would be glad to get the names of these forums and share them with you so that you can put yourself as part of it. Like what I'm trying to force, I'm trying to start pushing narrative so that the government can recognize people like this. We have a lot of them. Literally, they've turned themselves, they become beggars because there's no one looking after them. The government will come in and give them wheelchair and share them Indomie, and that's all. These people, do they tell you it's only Indomie they need? Or wheelchair? You give them wheelchair, there's no wheelchair accessibility, even some of the government office. Some of these people should be brought into office and they can work. Some of them are able-bodied. Just because they're living in one form of disability or the other doesn't mean that they can't work. Some of them can work. Some of them are even looking for jobs. Some of them went to school as well. So it's a conversation we need to continuously have. And by so doing, we are knocking at the door. We're knocking at the right door. So by your support, with your support, and you sharing this live stream and you coming out the comment section and flooding it, it would make YouTube, Instagram, Google know that, hey, there's something that this people are talking about. The algorithm will move it forward. So, guys, I want to really appreciate you guys for joining today. Most especially Anna, you were very active. Helen, thank you. Was CC, how are you? Thank you for joining. And Goddess Yvonne, thank you for joining. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I want to appreciate you guys for all the questions, all the support, and the fact that you were able to stay with me for these 107 minutes. Like I said, I'm not an expert in this field. I'm also very new to vlogging. I'm very new to it. I started vlogging because I wanted to make sure my voice is heard. And I've been quiet for too long. I want to cause a change. I want to bring a change to my generation. Yes? Like you said, Anna, most of them are being treated unfairly, that's the truth. It's not encouraging at all. I know. So me speaking and you chiming in, we will get the right result we're looking for. We will get the result we're looking for. And I appreciate you guys for coming to state your case today. Like some of the questions that came in, I couldn't even believe my ears. So guys, thank you. I didn't know I could turn my camera on and ask for people to join on YouTube, and they join. I mean, I'm not one of the pastors who are preaching prosperity or prosperity sermon to you. No, I'm not. I'm not. But all I'm doing is trying to cause a change in my own little way. And I would hope that what I've said today, I've spoken your mind. And if there's any question you want me to come and talk about, feel free. I would ask you guys to suggest our next questions we need to talk about. And we'll gather here again and talk about it. And with time, I'll be able to invite 1 or 2 persons to join us you guys to join us so that we can talk about it. That's my aim, so that I would invite you so you become one of the panels so that we can talk about it. Yes. So I understand that it's a bit, some people are shy, some people don't want to come on live stream to talk. And it will be something that if you're happy to join, I would bring you up and we will talk about it together. So, no, I'm not a pastor, obviously. I think to become a pastor is a calling. So some people, you know, you have to, it's a calling. You don't just dabble into pastoral works. So if God don't call you, please don't call yourself. This topic I talked about today is one that is very close to my heart. That's why you see me also be very passionate about it. And there's a lot of things which I've not talked about regarding this same topic. So I've been on here since 2 o'clock, by the way. Since 2? No, since 12, and it's now 5. So the aim was to get at least 2 hours or just 2.5 hours from it so that we can really, really dive deep into it. So guys, like I said, please follow me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, by the way. It's still at SortedTV. Follow me on TikTok. I'm on TikTok at SortedTV. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then follow me on Facebook. So we post content almost every other day. So, and it's not just the sort of content I talk about. I talk about other things. When VDM was arrested, I talked about it. When the government are not doing well, I talked about it. When Senator Natasha Akpoti was being dragged everywhere, I talked about it. And I just want to see a change. I want to let's start holding people accountable. That's the right word. Let's start holding people accountable. Nigerians, let's start holding people accountable. Africans, let's start holding people accountable. Like 2 days ago, I saw the president of South Africa sitting down with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is literally schooling this president of a whole country, talking to him like a child. I say he's the headmaster. And they brought in, the student came in to report himself to the headmaster. That's the president of South Africa. Donald Trump was schooling him. So what is this? Showing him pictures. Who are these people that your people are buying in South Africa? What about this picture? What about that picture? In front of the world. If you want to talk to a president, you have to, come on. This is not me supporting that man, what has happened in South Africa. The annihilation of those farmers or the forceful taking of their land. That's not what I'm talking about today. That's not what I'm saying as I'm supporting it. But what I'm saying to our African leaders is, stop going your tail between your legs and go and be asking for arms in this Western world. Stop asking for arms. Stop going to ask for aids. Stop going to ask for financial aid. We have natural resources that can last for donkey years. We can make use of that to repair our country. Dubai have realized that. The UAE have realized that's why they're living that kind of flamboyant life they're living. But we're busy allowing this colonial master to come back and take our things through back door. And the few politicians among us are using our money to waste it lavishly and buying houses in the Western countries, Western world, at the same time marrying SS wives and driving convoy. Some of them are even burying money inside the ground. How wicked you can be. But that's another topic for another day, my dears. It's crazy, I know. But yes, guys, you can suggest a topic you want to talk about. But in the meantime, I'm going to love you and leave you guys. God bless you. And hopefully, I'll get to see you guys in our next episode. So please turn on your notifications so that anytime I come on live, you can be notified that Sorted is live so that we can talk. Yes, because you're going to be seeing me live more. I appreciate you guys. God bless you guys. I love you. And remember, God loves you more. I'll see you some other time. Thank you. Bye.